Hey everybody, I'm Jake. I travel the world finding cars, motorcycles, people, and stories, and today I'm going to share a little bit more about who I am, why I'm starting this channel, and what you're in for if you join me for the ride. I'm from Salt Lake City specifically. I was born in Arizona. I lived in Ohio for a minute, but spent most of my time in Utah, and I've grown up with a couple people you might know, Kuya Kurt and Kai Abroad, who live here in Manila. They invited me out here to take a look and to see what it's all about and to try my hand at vlogging. They're both, pretty good at it. They figured some things out, and so they encouraged me to give it a shot too, and I decided to say yes. Friends with their whole family. You may know a few other ones like Unsupervised Logan, Travel with Tricky, Austin Cooks Average Food. Austin's actually my best friend. He and I grew up together. I think we've known each other since we were 10 years old, but he obviously introduced me to the rest of the family. Really excited to be here in Manila. I'll walk out here and show you. The city is beautiful, and the weather is very different than in Utah. Let's take a look. Out here is, I think, BCG. Is that what it's called? One of the boroughs or the barangays here in Manila, but it's green, it's humid, it's beautiful, very different than Utah, and I couldn't be more excited to be here. Why am I starting this channel? Well, obviously I'm into motorcycles, I'm into cars, I love automotive stuff. If it's got wheels or a motor, I love it. I love the creative side of it. People build some crazy things out there. I love the mechanical part of it, the engineering and the science that it takes to make something work like that. It's really, really interesting, really cool. Scratches an itch in my brain. And there are a lot of channels out there that talk about cars and motorcycles and whatever else. This channel will certainly talk about that stuff, but that's not really what this channel is about. This is about the people behind the cars and those bikes. They're infinitely more interesting. I've met a lot of people in the automotive community who have put their heart and soul into what they've been building or making. I think it's incredible, the story that it tells and the vision of what they're building. And so that's the stuff that's actually the most interesting to me. A little more background. I grew up out in Utah, like I said, and I come from a big family. I have 8 brothers and sisters, double digits family size if you count my parents. We didn't have a ton of money growing up, and I think all 11 of us, for most of my life, we grew up in like a 1,400 square foot home. So multiple bunk beds in multiple rooms. Just to get any privacy, growing up, I decided to move move my bed to the laundry room and slept on the concrete floor, put a futon out there. So that was a good time. We didn't have a lot of money, like I said, and that wasn't for lack of trying. I think they both worked, and sometimes 2-3 jobs. But when you have that many kids, it's hard to take care of everybody. I often tell people it wasn't the best time of life, but it was the best time probably for my life. Because we didn't have a lot, I just had to learn how to get scrappy. I had to learn how to go and get what I needed out of life and to make it happen for me. I worked a lot of weird jobs as a kid. From the time I was about 10 or 12 years old, I was washing cars, and that's one of the big things that got me really interested and excited about them early on. Also fixed swamp coolers. If you're familiar with those, they won't work out here in Manila. It's way too humid, but in dry climates like Utah, uses evaporative cooling. That was a lot more mechanical for me, and that kind of got me interested in the mechanical side of cars and everything else. How do things work? What makes them tick? By the time I was like 15, I had basically bought everything that I needed for myself. I learned how to be pretty self-sufficient. I bought everything from my bed to my chest of drawers to my clothes, my yearbooks from school, like you name it. If I wanted it, I kind of figured out that I just had to go and get it and find a way to make it happen. That skill set was kind of hard to learn, but I'm grateful that I learned some of that. It's helped me in my career path. So right now I own my own business. I'm a consultant, and I help software companies with sales. For about 20 years, I've worked in software and software sales leadership, and it's been a great career path. Never would have thought that I would have ended down this path. I got an English degree of all things, which is kind of weird, but I like to read, and it was something that I was kind of good at, I guess, in high school. And I also did like graphic design stuff in high school and in college. I actually had like a scholarship for school to design posters and things for school events, which was really cool. It gave me a creative outlet and a way to kind of scratch that itch. Sort of stumbled into sales, and really glad that I did. I never would have thought that it was something I could be good at. I don't think I'm like super special at it, but I have my own way of doing it, and I've seen a fair amount of success with it, and I'm really grateful for that career because it did some things for me that my dad didn't get. I earned enough to take care of my family. I have a couple kids. I got a son and a daughter. They're a little younger, coming on 10 and 8 years old. Allowed me to provide for them in a lot of ways that I just didn't have growing up. It also gave me some flexibility to kind of be there for the important times for them. My dad was working a lot. He just wasn't around. I know a lot of you can relate to what that's like. And I wish I would have had more time with him. He's no longer with me. So he passed away a few years ago, and I don't want my kids to experience that. I decided to choose a career path that would give me the kind of money and flexibility with my time that would allow me to take care of my kids, but also be there for them when they needed it. And I'm really glad that I chose that path. I've moved into a few different vice president roles at a few different companies. Over time, it kind of got like a bit disillusioning, I would say. I would meet a lot of people at kind of the higher ranks of companies, and there were a lot of great people in those positions. I'm really grateful for my personal kind of coaches and mentors and people who really gave me guidance in my career, but I also met a lot of shady people. I met a lot of folks who were just kind of consumed by greed, or who really only were looking out for themselves and would throw people under the bus to get it. And I really don't like that. I kept seeing some people doing those things, and it affected my career at times too, where people would use me as the scapegoat or point fingers. I didn't love that, but it became pretty cutthroat, and I'm just not that guy that loves to go around and take advantage of people. That was kind of coming to a head. And then back in September of this year, I actually, out of nowhere, I was at Disneyland with a couple of my friends. Austin, who I just mentioned, his kids, my kids are really close. We also went with our friend Jordan to Disneyland. We took all of our kids, and it was incredible. It was an amazing trip, something I wish I would have had as a kid, and was really excited to share with my kids. And I'm so glad that they got that experience. But while I was there, I was on the Indiana Jones ride. That thing is crazier than I expected. It'll whip you around. And it definitely did that to me. It whipped my neck. And after I got off that ride, I was like, something's off. You know, I could feel it. Didn't think too much of it. I just thought, yeah, I need to take a break from these rides. But it was like the next day I got home, found out that the hard way, I guess, that something was really wrong. Sitting on my computer, typing away at an email, and I fell out of my chair and I had a stroke, which is crazy to say. Never in a million years would I have thought that I would have experienced something like that. I'm not that old. When it happened, luckily called 911, the ambulance came. At first, they really didn't know what was going on. They tried to diagnose me. They tried to figure out what's happening here. They actually were kind of like ready to release me. And at first, they said, hey, we don't know what went wrong. We did a bunch of tests, but you're not dealing with anything now, so you can go. And I thought, no, that's not good. You haven't diagnosed anything. I don't know what's up. Run an MRI, do something. So I convinced them to go do a couple more tests. Lo and behold, my neck had ruptured an artery when it was whipped. It created a blood clot that moved up to my brain and caused the stroke. Could have been way worse. I'm so glad that it wasn't. It did take me a while to kind of recover, and I was scared, if I'm honest, whether things would be the same, if I'd get back to 100%. I'm basically, I would say, recovered, and it's a miracle. I have no idea why I was fortunate enough to be one of those people to go through something like that and come out okay on the other side. But it was a huge eye opener for me. And it really made me kind of take a minute to assess what's most important for me, what I really care about. I realized that it was maybe time for me to take a break from this kind of corporate adventure that I had been on, to get back to my roots and to get reconnected with folks. Through that experience, my family and friends really stepped up. Folks like Austin and others, my sisters, I have 6 sisters, they all showed up. My mom did. They didn't think twice. They kind of had to barge in, if I'm being honest, because I'm the type of person that doesn't ask for help very much. Just kind of how I grew up, I learned to take care of myself, and it's been hard for me to ask for help. But thank God that they just shoved their way in and made sure that I was okay. I learned that it was important for me to ask for help, but also for me to let people help me. It was just as important for me to give them the room to do that as it was for me to ask for help. They showed up in a big way. I learned that I had probably been putting up some walls, and I had just kind of been not connecting with people in a way that was important or was meaningful. And I realized I needed to change. I thought for a bit, how can I do something or build something that could be there for other people, that could create a community and create space for people to show up the way they need to show up. This vlog idea came out from that kind of process. I love cars, I love motorcycles, but more importantly, I love people. I would love to create an environment and a community where maybe we start talking about cars and motorcycles, but we get to talk about important things that are even bigger than that. And I think we can use the common ground of like the automotive world to start conversations, and then use that common ground to get to more hallowed ground with more important, more interesting, more personal things. I'm really excited to use this channel as an opportunity to do that. I'm excited to see different cultures around the world. I have a whole long list of places I want to go, places I want to see. I'm really pumped to go around the world and see those things. Fortunately, had some experiences where I've been able to go to places like Rome and ride Vespas, or I've gone to Costa Rica and ripped around on ATVs on the beach. Super fortunate to have had some really cool experiences that way, and I want to share them with folks and give you the heads up on if you're looking to experience something similar, what to keep an eye out for. For example, here in Manila, I've learned the hard way a couple of things. One big thing is if you're on a 125cc scooter, you're gonna get arrested if you go on an on-ramp to the freeway. Do you want to know how I know?
Is this your first time here in the Philippines? This is your first time. Home.
Google Maps didn't cooperate and sent me on the wrong route. No, I didn't get arrested. I got held for about an hour. Super lucky, super fortunate. It's okay to go down the wrong roads. In fact, often that's like where the best stories come from in my experience, taking the wrong turn. That's kind of where the name of this channel comes from, J-Turn Jake. If you don't know what a J-turn is, let's say this is your car. You're driving in reverse, you flip around and then turn the other direction and go back. Makes kind of a J shape as you turn around. The thinking there for me is that there have been plenty of things in my life. I got locked in to kind of the corporate mindset of like, stay in your lane, play it safe, do your thing, keep your head down, don't make too much of a scene. I missed a lot of stuff. I wasn't paying attention. That's what this channel is gonna do differently. We're gonna look at a lot of different places, a lot of different things that maybe you did a double take on, but you didn't pause to take a closer look, because almost all of my most meaningful and most cherished experiences in life have come from me saying yes to something that I wouldn't have said yes to before. Trying new things and really getting a look at the full breadth and depth of the human experience. That's what really motivates me. I love to learn. I'm super curious. I've learned a lot already from people here in Manila about the car culture and about culture in general. Made a lot of friends so far, and I'm looking forward to doing that all over the place. That's kind of the ethos of this channel. We'll talk about cars, we'll talk about motorcycles. We're also going to talk to people. That's really the most important thing. And we're gonna hopefully share tips, tricks, and advice along the way. If you're curious about traveling, if you want to experience those different car cultures or automotive scenes at different places, we'll show you how. A big thing that I would love to do to give back to the community is to share a bit more of the coaching and mentorship and career advice that I got from the people in my life. Really helped me get into a good spot. I'd like to pass that along. So we'll probably do some videos about that too. But if you guys are interested in some stuff, guess what? This is brand new. I'm totally open to ideas and feedback. That's actually kind of like the whole point. I would love to get the community here to share what interests you. That's what's kind of great about YouTube and everywhere else, is you can take polls, you can upvote the things you're most interested in. So I've already gotten a couple of really great ideas. One of those here in Manila was to go see Shoutout Motorworks. They hand build and hand manufacture jeepneys, and I went and took a look. I've got some great video that I'm excited to share with everybody. That was a real journey. Talk about making mistakes along the way and how to kind of recover. We're gonna share a lot about that. New to this, one of the things I'm trying to do is set up shop. Along the way, we've gotten some different equipment. I'm a nerd, I like tech, I like all that stuff. So I'm gonna take a second to walk through sort of the tech stack here that I'm working with. I'm filming on an Osmo 4, which is a little kind of handheld vlog camera. This is a little tripod base for it. Some of you saw the video the other day of me on a scooter, and it had some really cool shots. That was shot with this. This is an Insta, let me turn it the other way around. Insta 360 X5. It's got these fisheye lenses, hopefully you can see them, that create a full 360 panoramic view. This thing is really cool to film, sort of hard to edit with. Learning how to do that, but got some really cool footage to share with everybody that way. This is the GoPro 9. I started with this, had it for a long time. This has been a lot harder to use. Not a huge fan. It's got this media case on the outside. Getting the files, downloading the files, they don't support the software quick anymore, except on mobile. And I'm trying to, get some good edits for you guys. So this is one that I may use at times, but not the best thing. I've got this mount for the phone mount on the motorcycles or cars or whatever else. This is called the Action Invisible Selfie Stick. There we go, focus in. This is to mount to the 360, and it turns invisible, so it looks like someone's just filming you right behind. Really cool. And the piece de resistance, this is something I just got, I'm excited about. This is a drone. This is a DJI, let me think here, Mini 5 Pro, and practiced getting a couple shots yesterday with it, and it's gonna help get us some even more footage. So this is a bit of what we're working with. If you're like me and you're getting started in vlogging, you wanna do something similar, I'll get the link in my link tree and you can go take a look. I'm in this for the long haul. I'm super excited. It has been a blast being here in Manila. I've met incredible people, and that's really what this is all about. Thanks for joining me along the ride. We're going to go down some wrong turns together. We're gonna get in some trouble probably. We're gonna get in some awkward situations, and we're gonna get out of them. I'm on Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook, all the same thing, JTurnJake. Add me on each of those. If you haven't already, I add content on each of those channels that's a little bit different. If you have already been following me on Instagram, you would have seen in my story a sneak peek of where we're going next. Go add me, let's follow along the journey together. Also shout out again to Kuya Kurt, Kai Abroad, for bringing me out here. If you haven't added them, go ahead and subscribe to their channels as well. Remember to drive safe, and if you don't, at least don't get caught. Peace, everybody.